XRP versus Canton. The ticker is CC. You might have heard me mention it in a few of my videos, but I'm going to break it down with a quick deep dive and explain why it has become my number 2 spot holding in my portfolio. Not here to give you financial advice, but I am going to explain why I've loaded up, the upside potential I see as far as the price action, and we're looking at the fundamentals, looking at ETFs, digital asset treasury companies. Quick breakdown for you guys here. If you appreciate what we're doing, please help us out by liking this video, sharing it out far and wide, and make sure you guys check out this playlist that we got running here now, 2026 coin reviews, updated coin reviews, and comment down below and let me know which ticker you want me to review next. Everything else is at my website, zachrector.com. And if you're looking to buy Canton, Caleb and Brown is where I'm buying and keeping mine in free institutional grade custody. They're linked up down below. Absolutely free to create an account. Absolutely free to store your Canton. And so check them out if you need an option. And by the way, they'll also be coming to iTrust Capital here very soon. So stay tuned for that. Let's get into the update. Let's break it down. Canton Network is a privacy-enabled, interoperable public blockchain. It's a layer 1 designed primarily for institutional finance, and it allows financial institutions to connect siloed systems, tokenize assets, and execute synchronized transactions while preserving privacy and regulatory compliance. It supports use cases like tokenized assets, real-time settlement, collateral mobility, repo financing, stablecoin issuance, payments, and cross-border institutional crypto applications. Let's get right on into it. So the difference between Digital Asset, the company, Canton Network, the Layer 1 blockchain, and the Canton Foundation. Very simple. Digital Asset is the company that built the core tech, okay? So it'd be, if we're comparing, Ripple XRP to Canton CC and Digital Asset, right? Ripple's the company, XRP's the ledger and token. In this case, Digital Asset's the company that built out the core tech, Canton the ledger, right? Canton Network is the public, privacy-enabled L1 where institutions issue, trade, and settle real-world assets on-chain. And the foundation is the neutral foundation body that governs it, dozens of premier, general, and associate members. Digital Asset is just one of them, with protocol changes decided through on-chain CIPs and supermajority super validator votes. And what we continue to see is big institutions getting involved. Even NASDAQ has joined as a super validator. So they're bringing on some big hitters that are tokenizing hundreds of billions of RWAs on the chain, and then institutions that are actually helping to run infrastructure for the network as well. Let's address one of the red flags that people notice right away, which is the infinite supply of tokens. That's right. There's no cap on the tokens, but they've created a very interesting setup. Burn mint equilibrium is what they call it, and this is what regulates the supply. So utility earns new coins and network activity burns them. Tokenomics aligned with adoption, not speculation. So they didn't do a pre-mint. And basically, new tokens go to those who are building utility, building out apps, and building on the network. And then tokens get burned, usage fees are burned, not paid to miners. And so I'm still waiting to see. They just had a halving that took place at the start of this year that reduced the amount of new tokens that are minted. And so they're trying to keep this balance between new tokens being minted and tokens being burned through utility. And what I like is that the new tokens are going straight to the builders, those building real utility on the network. It's a very interesting setup. We haven't really seen it done at this scale before. And so I understand why it could caution some people from wanting to invest in a project that has unlimited supply. But the idea is that eventually, through usage, more tokens will be burned than are created, eventually making it deflationary. We're still yet to see that, but I wanted to point that out right from the start. Next, comparing here Canton versus Ethereum. Canton isn't competing with Ethereum's vision of freedom. It's building the missing infrastructure institutions actually need to move finance on chain, which is privacy, governance, and composable sovereignty. Okay? The thesis dates back to 2015. Everything will move on chain, but finance cannot do without privacy. The team deliberately did not ICO in 2017 and spent 7 years building and testing it privately before launching in 2023. The core belief is that on-chain financial services are a multi-decade transition not a crypto native sprint. Canton optimized for architecture and real usage first, token economics last. And the key distinction is that Ethereum maximizes individual freedom, Canton maximizes institutional usability. Big difference here. Okay. And so with Canton super validators, there's no capital staking required to participate. Governance chooses them based on contributions, and rewards are tied to contribution, not capital. So unlike proof of stake, where the largest holders, the largest participants get the most benefit, this is tied to actual contribution gets the most benefit and the most rewards, right? So the role here of super validators is to validate CC, fully public and permissionless, and act as a trustless message layer between cantons without seeing private transaction data. So Yuval, who is the CEO of Digital Asset, says immutability isn't purely technical. Forks prove it's a social agreement one institutions can't rely on. Canton gives issuers full ledger sovereignty, eliminating the need for off-chain records. And we have big institutions showing up. We have a DTCC pilot, JPM Coin, Broadridge's $380 billion transfer. These are possible because governance aligns with regulators, i.e. for privacy and composability without public data leakage. So this is kind of that public-private hybrid setup here that allows institutions to come on chain and keep what needs to be private, but then also have the full benefit of an open and permissionless chain as well. Now, another example of this, global finance is fragmented, liquidity is siloed, and risk accumulates in the gaps. Canton's answer is the global synchronizer, an interoperability layer designed for regulated markets. Let's dive into what this is. So the global synchronizer links a network of independent domains. Institutions keep control of their own ledgers and data while synchronizing with others in real time. No shared state, no forced transparency. Atomic transactions are the key. Trade settles everywhere at once, across assets, apps, and institutions without bridges or reconciliation risk. Privacy is enforced by design. Each participant only sees and validates the data relevant to them. Everyone else sees nothing. Operated by super validators with on-chain governance and no central operator, the global synchronizer acts as shared coordination infrastructure, enabling real-time settlement, collateral mobility, and always-on markets at institutional scale. This is very similar to permission domains and permission DEX, which is now going live on the XRP ledger. Right, if you've been paying attention to our XRP content lately, we've been breaking down how this allows institutions to come onto the XRP ledger decentralized exchange, but create their own compliant, credential gated environments and liquidity pools where they can know that they're not, basically trading and operating, participating in a liquidity pool with a bad actor. So, kind of similar to what I see Canton's built out here with their global synchronizer, is it's an interoperability layer while also protecting your data, protecting your smart contracts, protecting your credentials that you don't need to be made public. But when it's time to transact on the layer one, you can do so, right? Similar to what we're seeing with permission domains and permission DEX on the XRP ledger. Now, this partnership with the DTCC is focused on minting and using U.S. Treasuries on Canton. It's coming in 2026, and they're enabling tokenized USTs to be exchanged in near real time with stablecoins and other digital assets, all with the privacy and controls regulated markets demand. A major unlock for global collateral mobility to accelerate settlement, reduce risk, and optimize balance sheets. So DTCC at the table, absolutely love to see it. It's the number one question that I ask of any project that I'm considering investing in, is I ask, who's using the token? And I'm looking for institutions. I love ecosystems that, are built out for retail users, and people can get the benefits of that. But at the end of the day, if you want to see significant price appreciation on these coins, if you want to make big money, you need institutional money invested, you need institutional participants present, and tokenizing and bringing liquidity on the chain if you want to see significant money flows on that layer one. Whether it be XRP, Canton, we ask who the heck is buying and holding and ultimately using the token, right? With DTCC, they're in the pilot phase right now. Well, you'll see this with a lot of projects where they're piloting, testing, playing around, fireside chat, we're friends, photo op, to prove it. That's great. Are they holding the token? Are they buying the token? Are they using the token? That's what we always wanted to look for. Now, our checklist we go through and we're asking, a few questions, very simple. Is the project getting institutional adoption? Does the project have any digital asset treasury companies that are going to be putting it on their balance sheet? And then the next question is, do they have any ETFs? Now, for Canton, we do have one digital asset treasury company, and they're now going to have a new NASDAQ ticker, which is CNTN, and it starts trading tomorrow, February 18th. And this company right here is Theramoon. Theramoon announces corporate rebrand to Canton Strategic Holdings is now going to be their company name. So there you have it. They are the main digital asset treasury company outside of the company Digital Asset, which is the main builder on Canton. But what we want to see is external digital asset treasury companies that aren't tied to the main company that built out the network, right? With Ripple, you have an XRP, you have Evernorth, which is the largest DAT holding XRP. That's a separate company from Ripple, and that's what you want to see. You want to see not just one, you want to see multiple digital asset treasury companies holding it on their balance sheet. At least I do, right? It's a sign that there's real institutional adoption. There's people that deem it worthy of holding on their balance sheet. And so for Canton, they have this one. I'm looking forward to seeing more. And what's interesting is if you look under the hood at who's invested in this DAT for Canton, there's some names that you might recognize, and that would be Broadridge, owns 9.99%. That would be ARK Invest, and that would be BlackRock. 2.2% ownership of this ticker right here. CNTN is going to be the new ticker, trading on NASDAQ starting tomorrow. And BlackRock is at the table. Interesting. Now, what I did is I had Grok put together all of the institutional partners and the use cases here for Canton. You got Goldman Sachs tokenizing assets, participating in pilots like tokenized green bonds, foundational member and active in capital markets and tokenization. Bank of America. I'm not going to read through all the use cases here, but BNP Paribas, Citadel's here, DTCC, Citi, HSBC, Societe Generale, TradeWeb, Virtue Financial, Circle, Cumberland, BNY Mellon is here, participating in pilots in U.S. regulated liability network projects. Deutsche Börse Group, Moody's is here, data and analytics, strategic launch partner and Canton Foundation member. See, and that's what I'm talking about. This is Moody's, the rating agencies. Now, you don't really see this on many other networks right now. I'm just being honest. Even if you look at the XRP ledger, right? You look at the validators that are running and confirming the network over there. You got some big hitters on the list, but Canton is probably the most impressive list of infrastructure, people running infrastructure on any network that I've seen. Canton is impressive, right? It's impressive. Euroclear, Paxos, Broadridge, Hong Kong Exchange and Clearing via Synapse. Other notable mentions include JP Morgan bringing JPM coin on it, Bank of China for custody, market makers involved. Okay. Absolutely love to see it. Now, we go over here to rwa.xyz. And what this does is it shows us who is tokenizing what on chain. And this is a great platform for seeing where the tokenized assets are. And Canton's at the top of the list. Now, there's a key distinction that we need to make, though, between distributed and represented RWAs. And rwa.xyz, this website does a good job of keeping track of both. Now, the main difference is that distributed RWAs are real tokens that you can move to external wallets, and you can have like full use of the token on the chain, right? So it's an RWA of gold that's tokenized on chain. You can freely trade and move it around. Versus a represented RWA would be like, an institution that's tokenized data on the chain, but it's not distributed as far as a token that you can trade, right? They've put data on the chain. It's an RWA on the chain represented, but not distributed and freely tradable. Hopefully that makes sense. In the most simple terms, that's the breakdown of the two. But if you look at the list here of the RWA league table, Canton is at the top, but we should note that this is mostly represented RWAs and not distributed. So Ethereum is in the lead when it comes to distributed RWAs, And I'll show you that right now. Let's take a look at this right here. Okay, RWA league table. And you can see that Ethereum's at the top with 14 billion of distributed RWAs. BNB right behind it. Solana, Liquid, Stellar, Arbitrum, Avalanche, Polygon, XRP Ledger at the 9 spot with 423 million of distributed RWAs. But move over to represented and you'll see the difference here. 14 billion is the top number for Ethereum on distributed. Move over to represented and you have Canton at the top with 352 billion. It's not even close. XRP Ledger with represented RWAs up to 1.5 billion. So that's growing. And now, just because something's represented now doesn't mean it won't be distributed later, right? So it's important to have the distinction between distributed and represented. Very important. But it shows that they're on chain. The next step is to issue tokens, right? And to make these tokens fully distributed. Make these RWAs that are on chain fully distributed. That's the next step. And I'm not saying that all of that represented RWA value of 352 billion will become distributed, but even if a portion of it does, you could easily see Canton leapfrogging Ethereum when it comes to the RWA table, okay? So when I put all this together, right, this is the fundamentals behind Canton. Now let's get into the technical analysis and the upside potential that I can see on this project. It's massive, okay? So we're taking a look here at the chart on Bybit. Canton initially pumped up to about 20 cents, and so that's the all-time high. Against Tether is the pairing that we're looking at right here on the daily chart. And we did pull all the way back to about 6 cents. And so the all-time low on Canton, I would say, is about 6 cents. The all-time high is about 20 cents on Bybit, okay? And Bybit is the biggest platform, I think, where Canton is traded. Another opportunity here is that Canton is not listed on Coinbase. I don't even think it's listed on Binance yet. Maybe Binance listing's coming soon. If it's not there yet, it will be soon. I did mention that it's going to be available on iTrust Capital here soon. And I bought it and I'm holding it on Caleb and Brown. It also is available on Uphold. So it's just now coming to tier 1 exchanges and platforms, which is just more opportunity and upside potential, right? But we go back to this chart and you can see that we recently popped up here to about 19.5 cents. So we basically ran back up to the all-time high at the beginning of February. And this is what I love about this project right here, is that the chart is fresh. The narratives, everything about this project, it's fresh, it's new, it's not burdened with a bunch of bag holders. It's not burdened with a bunch of negativity that you see so prevalent in the crypto space right now. Whether it be projects and investors and communities losing their thesis, losing their belief, losing their conviction, toxic things going on. There's none of that. None of that with Canton. It's just pure. It's pure and it's got fundamentals and it's ready to pump. It's ready to pump. And so watching this pullback right now, somebody the other day in my community had asked me, hey, looking to enter Canton, where could you see it pulling back to? And so that's why I had this yellow horizontal line right here at 15.5 cents, literally 4 hours after I told the person, hey, watch out for this level. It wicked down right here. That was on Friday. But Canton hanging out right here above 16 cents right now. Just a lot of strength on this chart. You can see this uptrend is very clear. I pulled a trend-based fib from the bottom level right here up to this most recent high to see where Canton could head to. My low targets are about 30 cents. My high targets are about 43 to 50 cents. But if you pull a full fib right here, and we did a full 4.236 extension, you're looking at Canton going up to 65 and even 73 cents right up here. That's a 347% move from where we sit here today. Now, sliding on over to the market cap chart, you can see on CoinGecko right here, we have the breakdown. Market cap right now is 6.2 billion. Fully diluted valuation's the same because, all the tokens are circulating. There's just right there, you have the infinite symbol on the max supply, right? But the circulating supply right now is 37 billion. 24-hour trading volume's only 9 million, so small. So much upside here. But the reason why I wanted to show you guys this is because if you look here, the market cap on Canton got up to an all-time high of about 7 billion at the start of the month when it traded back up at 19.5 cents. That brought the market cap to 7 billion. But this is nothing. This is nothing. And if we look at Canton, if it's heading to the top 10, you just look at CoinMarketCap and look at the projects that we have here, right? Dogecoin sits up here at a 17 billion market cap. So for Canton to make its way into the top 10, we're only talking about it going up a couple multiples to get up here where you got Dogecoin at 17 billion. That's a joke. And you have Tron up here at 26 billion. Right? With Solana up here at 48 billion. And so I'm not saying that Canton is the XRP killer. I'm not saying that Canton is the Ethereum killer. I'm just saying that this project could easily make its way into the top 10 with ease, right? And with that, we're conservatively looking at prices going up to 50 cents, 70 cents. You know, I mean, could Canton go to $1 in the next bull run? I wouldn't rule it out, right? And so I'm not here to give anybody financial advice and to tell you that you need to buy this token. I just wanted to put together this first initial deep dive on Canton, explain why I loaded up on it. It's my number 2 holding. I'm holding it in institutional grade custody at Caleb and Brown. I know that there's some wallets that you can hold it on. I don't care to do that at all. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not going to get a new wallet just so I can hold Canton. I'm not going to waste my time when I can have it in bankruptcy remote protected free institutional grade custody at Caleb and Brown. And then for those of you guys that are familiar with iTrust Capital, they're about to have it listed over there as well. And so once again, that's also free institutional grade custody, bankruptcy remote protected as well. So I'm not going to play around with getting a new wallet so that I can self-custody it when I have it in accounts that are protected and in free institutional grade custody. I just don't think it's necessary. And so for me, I am looking to trade this. This is not something I'm considering holding for the next 5 to 10 years. Maybe I will end up holding a portion of it. But for right now, I just see tremendous upside opportunity, a pure chart, strong fundamentals. So right now, Bitwise is the only institution that's filed for an ETF so far, but I am expecting that we'll see additional ETFs for Canton filed here in 2026, so stay tuned for that. So just going down the list here, it checks off everything. Institutional adoption, it's got ETFs on the way, it's got one digital asset treasury company. The tokenomics, a little bit different, but I think that it's going to be an interesting model that ends up working out for them. If they can bring the real utility and usage of the network that they're talking about, I think that burn to mint equilibrium will end up, being beneficial. I don't think that we're going to be diluted, but that's yet to be seen. I'm not here to say that, you're going to guarantee that you're going to get rich off this coin. I'm just looking at it. Multiples to the upside with ease looks conservative to me. And so right now, outside of my big bag of XRP, is in the number 2 spot is Canton. And so you guys let me know in the comments down below what you think about this project, if you're investing in it, and what your upside targets are on it. Interested to read your comments down below. And if you appreciate these deep dives in the content that we bring here, please help us out by liking this video, sharing it out far and wide, and everything can be found at my website, zachrector.com. Thank you, and God bless you all. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.